bit about what we've been up to in the kitchen this week. So here I'm preparing to make a vegetable lasagna. I always start off with my olive oil, and my cumin seeds, and I let that sizzle and then add my onions. Once the onions have cooked for a little bit, I add garlic, and then I add my spices. So for this dish I added oregano, salt, pepper and paprika. Let that marinate, mix together. On the side I had my carrots boiling. I boiled them just because they do take a bit of a while to cook on the gas, so that's why I decided to boil them a little bit and then add them in. And then I added my other vegetables in. Vegetable lasagna is great because you can just throw in whatever vegetables you have in the fridge. I often put courgettes in. Here I've got mushrooms, peppers, carrots, and then later I'll be adding peas, giving that a good mix, letting all the spices and the flavours mix together well. And after that's been cooking for a little bit, I add my chopped tomatoes and a little splash of water in the chopped tomato tin just to get it all out and give it a good mix. For this vegetable lasagna, I decided to have a layer of aubergines as well. So I'm really cooking those aubergines off really well, ready to be a layer in my lasagna. And here I am layering. In the tin, I've actually massaged it with a bit of butter or oil just so that the lasagna sheets don't stick to the bottom. And then I just go in with my layering. I have boiled those lasagna sheets so they're softer already, and put 3 in there, and then added my mixture of flour, butter, milk and a little bit of cheese. Really mix that together. You want to be adding more milk into that creamy white sauce for your lasagna. And then I always do lasagna sheet, white sauce, sprinkle of cheese, and then my mixture, whether that's a meat lasagna or a vegetable mixture. So I'm just layering up that vegetable mixture on there now, spreading it out quite well and evenly. And then always that sprinkle of cheese never hurts. And then I'm going ahead to add my layer of aubergines that have been cooked through pretty well, as you don't really want a raw aubergine bite. And yeah, you just continue your layers. I always have 3 layers of lasagna sheets in my lasagnas, but I think that the Italian way is to have almost 5 or 6, maybe even more. But this works well for us. And then I top it off with the white sauce that I've made. And it does look a bit glumpy, but I mean, for me it's absolutely fine. It works really well. I quite like the glumpiness when it's cooked through and tastes really nice and hearty. But yeah, if you whisk it more, then you'll get a really smooth mixture. And then I always finally have that layer of cheese at the top. That's the final layer going on now. Final layer of lasagna sheets will be coming on now, with again the white sauce and cheese on top. I always cook it in the oven for at least 20 to 30 minutes, sometimes a bit more, just you can tell when it's ready, when it's got that golden crispy look at the top. So I decided to soak overnight a large batch of white beans, ready to make some Kuru Fasuliye, which is a Turkish dish. It's absolutely delicious. I love it so much. So how I make it is I have soaked those beans overnight, and then also having them on the gas the next day, because just soaking them overnight isn't enough. They're still going to be quite hard. So whilst they're boiling on the in one pot, on the other side I'm starting to prepare. So I've added my oil and butter, and then my onions, and once those onions have cooked for a little, I add my garlic. I like to add extra garlic. I think I added about 4 or 5 cloves of garlic there. I'm really letting that mix through, letting all the flavours come out, and just every now and then giving the beans a mix just in case it gets stuck or anything in the pot. Once that's cooked for some time, you can add your lamb. It's always nice to get lamb that has some bones, because the bones really give a lot of flavour too. The lamb we got had some bones in there as well. And then you add that into your mixture of onions and garlic and give that a good mix. Let all of that onions and garlic get in there, get into the lamb. Then after some time you can add your spices. So I added pepper, salt, paprika and oregano. I also added a bay leaf. And I really added a lot of that thyme and oregano. And then you give it a good mix, let all those spices and flavours get into the mixture of food. And once that's cooked for a little while, you add 2 scoops of tomato paste and 2 scoops of pepper paste. Sorry, one scoop of pepper paste. 2 scoops of tomato paste and 1 scoop of pepper paste, but again, it's just to your taste. And you really mix that well. You want all of the lamb, all of the onions, all of the mixture to be covered in that tomato and pepper paste. Spread it really well. And that adds a big amount of flavour to your dish. Then I add a tin of chopped tomatoes with a little splash of water at the end, and give that a good mix. And once this was sort of boiling, I did turn the heat down a little bit as well. And you just put the lid on and let that cook for some time. You don't want to rush lamb, I find. I also added half a lemon in there, lemon juice, and a sprinkle of sugar, and gave that a good mix. And then once your white beans are not too hard and softening up now, that's when you can add them into the dish. And they don't need to be fully soft, because they are going to be cooking further into the sauce and juices of the dish, which should mean that they are the perfect consistency when it comes to eating. I didn't use all of the white beans because I did prepare quite a bit, so I froze the rest to make for a future Kuru Fasuliye dish. So I just added the amount that I thought was right for the amount of meat and sauce that we had. yeah, and once that's been cooking for a little bit, you finally add your water, and then your hot water, and then you turn it down, let it simmer, for a good 30 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes, just to really let that meat get nice and tender. I decided to add 1 more scoop of white beans. So here I am preparing a very quick treat. So we had lots of dates, so you remove the seed from the dates. I lay them out onto a little tray, and it was really super simple. I just stuffed some peanut butter into each of them, and then prepared a mixture with a little bit of butter and oil and cocoa powder, so making my own little dark chocolate to sprinkle over the dates at the end. And honestly, it was absolutely delicious. Once you've stuffed them with the peanut butter and sprinkled over that chocolate mixture, you refrigerate them, so let them be in the fridge. And oh my word, it was absolutely delicious to eat these. Almost tasted a bit like a Snickers bar. Really nice and pretty healthy as well when it comes to desserts. And so, traditionally, or at least my husband, always ate Kuru Fasuliye with Turkish rice and something called cacık. Cacık is essentially a mixture that is using yogurt, and then in the yogurt you put grated cucumber and salt, and my husband also added sumac and fresh dill and vinegar into his mixture. So the recipe is yogurt, garlic, salt, cucumber, dill, vinegar, olive oil and sumac. And it is absolutely delicious. When mixed all together, it's just so refreshing. Perfect way to get cucumber into your diet, and not in a salad form. And yeah, we really enjoyed this meal. The kids loved it as well. It goes really well with the Turkish rice and the cacık and the kuru fasulye all together. It was a beautiful meal. That is the kids' portion, by the way, not our portion. We ate ours later, as you can see, with the date dessert and some homemade tomato pickles, green tomato pickles, and it was delicious. We had some leftover chocolate mixture that I'd made, so we decided to sprinkle that all over a quick basic cake that we made with some coconut on the top as well. That was really nice to enjoy. The children were very eager to have a slice, so they did.